What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video of Flutter. So in the last video we discussed about the block, state, events and we did something inside the block. But in this video we'll see the magic that we did in the last video in our UI. Michael, it's on you now. Let's go.
So just to repeat what we did the last time, we started to introduce states to our block because we need the state to emit it to I to trigger a rebuild accordingly. And we also found an optimization. We can use the state itself if we just update one state for the whole UI, not multiple different states. So yeah, we can just use them. Just change them directly, and instead, of course, our home block. Oh, is it? It is. Our home block is not counting or holding the counter value by itself. Only the state itself.
Okay.
Kind of optimization.
So it should emit the counted value in our screen then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now we have our states, we have our events, we have our block, have like everything. But what we need to change is, of course, we need to update our UI.
Okay, that's the main task then.
So first of all, what we need is stateless widget on top. I will tell you why. First, it also will have the same name like our homepage.
Is that mandatory?
Well, yeah, if you want to use my homepage still as my homepage and not something different,
Okay.
yeah, it would be mandatory. I will explain why we need a separate stateless widget. Because what we want to use is the so-called block builder, block provider, not block builder, block provider. And this block provider is visible for each child that follows the block provider. In our case, we will use our stateful widget that already knows about the block provider. So we simply can just call block provider to create our event. That's the purpose of it. So first of all, we need to create our block. Tell block provider this is the block you're holding.
Okay.
So
Block provider acts as a manager then. Manage
yeah,
all the blocks and okay.
exactly. And what we need is, of course, the child widget, the block that knows or wants to use the block provider.
That's
In
my
our
homepage.
case, it will be, of course, I will change it. My homepage widget.
Okay.
So first, we also need the title, as we can see here. We have a property called title.
Okay.
So we also need to get the title.
Title.
Yeah, we just add it.
Title. Okay.
We added. What we need to do now is we need to change, of course, name of it. Here and here. And of course here. And here. We have the right references. So now we have also this required here. That means we need to add a named parameter.
Okay.
Okay, that's actually mainly it. Or just now to first create the home block instance and to present the provider to our real homepage.
So can one provider provides the block stuff into multiple child?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, each like a classic widget does. The parent widget is introducing everything to all the children. So all the children referring to parent know it.
Okay. In this case, if we had two pages, my homepage and my whatever page, then can we call it inside a block builder, block provider?
Inside the block provider, yeah, we could. That would mean that the second screen is actually also a child of block provider.
Okay.
But Usually, we don't create screens as children from each other, so we create them like siblings,
Okay.
widgets in parallel inside of the widget tree. So in that case, the second screen would rather use
Separate
another
provider.
block provider.
Okay, then I can say in standard case, one provider should handle one child.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So first of all, we have our block provider, and the next thing we need to do is we don't want the stateful widget now because we don't want to change the UI depending on state changes inside of the widget. Because for that, we want to use BloC.
Exactly.
So what we want to do now is first remove that, then can ask to help Flutter to help us and recreating our stateful widget to a stateless widget. We don't need to add all the changes manually. What we keep is the title and of course only our build part.
Okay.
So in that case, we see the UI structure only, and we see our increment counter call in the floating action button. And here, maybe regarding the block provider, we need to create the event to tell block to increment the counter, right? So now we ask our block provider to give us the right block. This case, it's the home block, right? And we want to create or send an event to it. In this case, the increment counter event. So, before. Besides that, what we see here, we have a little error because the onPressed is using void functions. So we just create one.
Okay, so we need to remember this line always in block provider of the block context add. That's always the same.
Exactly. The most important thing here is we need to specify out of the context what block we are referencing to.
Okay.
Because there is also kind of a multi-block provider holding multiple instances of different blocks. And we also need to specify which block we are actually addressing. So that's the reason why we need to tell what block we are looking for. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, of course, we need to update this counter here. In that case, we can see that we have a column widget with a text here and a text here. What we want to do is to update only a specific part, not like the whole widget. So what we can wrap with here is block builder. We were just saying multiple times before. This block builder is actually a listener to all the states the block is sending to us, to our UI. And what we need for that is, of course, a builder method. This builder method contains the build context, an own context, and a block. Updated, and I was missing something. Yeah, because we need to tell block builder to listen to the block and the state. So we pass him the block and the state he actually listens to.
Okay, updated home.
Yeah,
state.
And then that's the reason. Updated home state. State.
Great. Now the state has our counter value.
Yeah, exactly. Now we need to depend on the value inside of the state. So what we do is just we replace the counter value here and call the information from our updated counter.
Okay, so many block stuff. Block builder. Now there is block provider, and we already had what was that? Block on the top.
On top, the block provider.
Yeah, block. Okay, that is also block provider. Okay.
Just in short, the block provider holds the whole block instance and introduces this one to all the children. So in this case, to our real homepage. Then we need to use another widget called block builder, which is a listener to each block state.
Okay.
And every time we emit a state, block builder is rebuilding everything inside its build function. So another plus here, with set state, we rebuild the whole widget actually. And with block builder, we don't do that. We just take the widget as it is, and only a specific part is changing.
Okay,
or
so if
updated.
we have fearful path where we need to change the value of this state, then do we introduce this block builder multiple times in the page?
Yeah, we can do that. It's no problem. If it's useful, for example, you have a title, then you have some logic maybe in a table or whatever, maybe a button that is changing colors, stuff like that. But they are actually located in different places. So you rather would use two block builders, one for the title, for example, and one for the button itself. So it doesn't get too complicated, or you don't rebuild too many widgets inside of your screen.
Okay. So if the parent widget had some value changed, then we should have used that block builder on top in its parent then. Okay, that sounds interesting. So let's see the result then.
Okay, so started, of course. Yeah, we had this arrow. So now, as you can see, the block builder will rebuild every time we press the button. Oh, geez, it works.
It worked.
Magic.
But let's see how it's working. Can we turn on the debug mode?
Yeah, of course. So what I will do now is let's set some breakpoints. So we start with 0, like our initial value is here, found here. So what we want now is put a breakpoint here to see that the incoming event is triggering this method.
Okay.
You can see here that we get into our increment counter function. And maybe what's important here is that our builder is returning a text widget every time with the updated value.
Okay.
So we should see a difference in the state itself. Okay, so
Run.
of course, we want to see the on-pressed event. Would be nice. So first,
Press.
let's press the button and see
Pressed.
on-pressed is triggered magically.
Okay.
We call now our event from the block provider. Get into our registered event
Events.
method that listens to the right event. And this one triggers our increment counter function. You can see that our block itself has a state. In this state, we have our updated counter value, like we had in the beginning, like the increment, the initial one.
Yep.
So now, if we trigger this, see the block builder is triggered, and we should see the updated value now.
Okay, great.
So run it again.
Next.
And we see the updated one.
Great.
If we repeat the process, see that the state itself holds the value from the last time.
Good.
Yeah, and repeats the process again and again.
Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, so let's summarize what we have done so far.
The target of using BloC is to reduce logic in our widgets. For that, we need a BloC class, which registers all the events we want to react to. Besides that, our BloC is holding the properties or attributes that that will be changed depending on the usage. In our case, we use our state for that because we are only emitting one state. So in that case, we have this exception we can use here. Besides that, our BloC needs events and states. Yeah, don't forget to use waitable, very important, in state
Remember that?
and in events. Just a reminder, BloC is checking for equality. So if it is the same state, it won't be triggered.
Okay.
It needs to be a different state,
Mm-hmm.
an updated state in that case. So now if we have our block structure, we introduce our block provider to our screen, which holds the block instance.
Mhm.
And if we want to change something in our UI structure or update a specific part, we use the block builder. And within the builder, it listens to all the states we emit to the screen, and depending on the information we get from the block, we simply override the old value.
Okay, that was interesting. And if somebody is new into a Flutter world, then they need to watch this video, I guess, 1 or maybe 2 times, and then they can understand the topic. It's a little bit complex, but not that hard. You can try it up to yourself. So I guess that's all for this video, guys. For the block topic, next video might be on the interesting topics regarding the block, how we can improve it, how we can use it for multiple purposes or something like that. For this video, that's all from our side. Michael, do you want to add something?
Thanks for watching and listening to my talk.
Okay, guys, then see you in another video. Goodbye.
Bye bye.